Welcome to the Broken News, PBS K36BW. With your co-anchors, Justin Harris, and Thomas Jenkins. Weather with Conrad Jenkins. This is your local news. So what part were you wanting to read here?
1 or 2. I want number 1.
I was kind of thinking I was going to take number 1.
Well, I want number 1.
Well, it's the juicier part. Yeah, everybody wants it.
I know. We could both be number 1. You be number, I'll be 1. Hi, I'm Justin Harris.
And I'm Thomas Jenkins, and it's a beautiful day in Sanders County.
Yes, it is.
But it's always a beautiful day in Sanders County.
Yes, it is. Except for when you're not here. But let's get on with it, shall we?
Last Friday, the varsity Blue Hawk football team met up with the Mission Bulldogs. Both of the teams came into this one with the same record of 3 losses, with the only difference being that one of the Bulldog losses was in 7B play.
Right now, on the tackle. That's not the big complete out there. Justin Evans on the outside. Victor Lyons on the tackle. That'll bring up a 4th down for the Bulldogs. Inside 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Justin Evans. No signal yet. Touchdown. The Bulldogs take over from the 10-yard line. Darby up the middle. Will Darby up to the goal line. Around the goal line. Looks like up the line of stage. Very good. Touching on the tackle.
Well, in case you missed it, and based on attendance you probably did, the mayoral candidate forum was held last Thursday. The forum was an open format, with questions being welcomed from the audience with a raise of the hand.
And with a small crowd, it is fairly effective and allows everyone to have a voice.
That's true.
Trains have to go through, obviously. They don't have to blow that whistle.
The audience had an array of interesting questions concerning our town, infrastructure, and the main topic, growth and development.
Ah, growth. Aside from the train whistle, it seems to be the most talked about subject amongst area residents.
Well, I'm fairly torn on the subject myself.
I'm sure most people are. There are so many facets to that issue, it's hard for many of them to form a firm opinion on it.
Well, I'm all for growth and development, I think.
Creating jobs, more residents, construction, larger tax base, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
And higher property taxes due to rising valuation, higher insurance, and more competition for jobs that are already scarce. Inadequate amounts of low-income housing, yada yada yada.
No kidding. Most people working in the service industry wouldn't make enough to pay the rising rent costs. Families that have lived here comfortably for generations may not be able to afford to live in their own hometown. No more development!
Well, if it is orchestrated in a clever manner and the plan is fluid enough to change with ongoing unforeseen issues, development could help everyone.
But you just said...
No, I didn't say anything. This is just both sides of the same coin.
Well, you're right. There is a certain amount of change on whether we like it or not. This used to be a manufacturing community. We had sawmills. We had a lot of... It was a place where you could come, graduate from high school, you didn't need to go to college. You made a living and support a family. And frankly, we're not that kind of community anymore. We've become a retirement. As far as, change in the community, we're kind of limited in what we can do. We're geographically hemmed in. The only possible growth direction, short of taking over mule pasture, which is another issue entirely, is to go to the east. And, there's one property owner who controls the bulk of that property. So we'll only go grow that direction, whatever rate he wants us to grow.
You see, we're digging our way out of a hole, not starting from the ground up. Like His Honor said, a person in the good old days could grow up here and work right out of high school to support a family, without ever leaving the area. Not so anymore.
That's true. Just look at school enrollment here. Young families are slowly leaving.
But if someone can bring growth and development to a point that we are better off than we were before, what do you think could happen then?
It'd be like the good old days of fun and that feeling of financial stability that was more prevalent just a few years ago.
But it may not be necessary.
What?
Well, in systems theory and the neoclassical growth model, followers include Alan Greenspan, growth is inevitable. Louis's been doing this thing for quite some time, and growth and development were not forced, but they happened.
Never really thought of it that way.
It was brought about by people doing business and attracting more business activity. Pulling business up by its bootstraps, so to speak.
So, Louis the way to go.
Well,
Vote for Louis?
the business people who facilitated that growth were people like Dan and Carla Parks. People who were willing to keep their business here through thick and thin.
Enough of this runaround. Which way does this thing need to go?
Well, that's the beauty of life. Whatever gets created is what happens. In an election, all anyone can really do is encourage people to have an opinion, any opinion, and get out there and exercise their right to vote.
That's the most concrete thing you've said all day.
Well, I did say it was a beautiful day in Sanders County earlier.
That's true, you did. Let's take a look at some footage so I can draw my own conclusions about this.